Hi everyone, welcome back. In 2014, I had planned to be more politically active in hoping to get out the vote by starting a campaign called Stay Home or Vote Republican. But it seemed like a hopeless cause and I wasn't sure how to get started. Now 4 years later, desperate times calls for desperate action. So I'm bringing back this idea and going a step further. During that time, I was concerned about the following, and by the way, I still am, and I'll get to it in a minute. But now that the Democrats/resistance managed to win back the House of Representatives, our work isn't done, not by a long shot. It's just beginning. November 3rd, 2020 is only 2 years away, and that means that the Senate and the presidency is the next on the target. Stay home or vote Republican. Like I said, I had this idea 4 years ago, and if this message describes you, then you need not come out to vote on Election Day, November 3rd, 2020. If you like making less than $10 an hour or working 16 hours more a day, 7 days a week, or you're unemployed or underemployed, stay home or vote Republican. If you like having politicians permanently take away your right to vote or have a collective voice at the bargaining table rather than come out once every 2 years and assert your constitutional rights, stay home or vote Republican. If you're a woman and you like making less than a man does for the same work, or big government, which is predominantly run by men, telling you what you can and can't do with your bodies, stay home or vote Republican. If you like the wealthy getting richer off the sweat of your brow while you struggle to get by living paycheck to paycheck, stay home or vote Republican. If you prefer to have two wealthy business-owning brothers dictate how the country will be run, along with their ability to distort the media and pay off politicians to make up laws that will only benefit them, stay home or vote Republican. If you like gridlock in the U.S. do-nothing Congress, do-nothing Republican Congress, because you prefer to live in the divided states of America instead of the United States of America, stay home or vote Republican. If you're more concerned about your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren having to pay for the national debt and deficit, but not concerned about your children, and their children's children having dirty water to drink, contaminated food to eat, polluted air to breathe, or a 200-degree environment to live in because of global warming, stay home or vote Republican. If you're not concerned about a president and his policies that have left the United States vulnerable to Russia, Iran, or North Korea's interference, stay home or vote Republican. If you want the mentally disturbed and violent criminals to continue legally purchasing automatic weapons with ease so they can walk into any first-grade classroom with 6-year-olds and senselessly murder as many of them as they can, stay home or vote Republican. If the last 2 longest wars America was involved in wasn't enough and you're itching to send our young men and women off to another foreign land to be maimed or killed because you believe diplomacy or compromise are dirty words, or at least you did when President Obama was in office, or you have some ideological belief you need to show Iran, Russia, North Korea, or any number of other countries who's number one, stay home or vote Republican. If you agree that billionaires and millionaires deserve all the credit and profits from a financially successful business and your salary is all you deserve, stay home or vote Republican. If you are still more upset with Obamacare and have not recognized its benefits, stay home or vote Republican. So I thought that would make for a good campaign and get people out to vote, for Democrats, of course. Well, I wasn't quite convinced that my Stay Home or Vote Republican campaign would be enough to get non-registered voters to register and show up at the polls and vote. I then decided to tweak the message a little bit for the non-voters, the ones who are too busy, aren't interested, or don't care about politics or the country. I decided to make it more personal. So here's another message for those who are too busy, aren't interested, or just don't care, this message is for you. If you are making less than $10 an hour and you have the opportunity to give yourself a raise of $3 or $4 more dollars, and only thing you need to do is stand in line for at least an hour, push a few buttons, or fill out a piece of paper that will take 5 minutes or less, would you do it? If you work 16 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you would like to cut your hours by half, still bring home the same pay, perhaps a little bit more, and the only thing you need to do is stand in line for at least an hour, push a few buttons, or fill out a piece of paper that will take 5 minutes or less, would you do it? If you would like to have your voice heard at work and you feel you deserve better wages and safe working conditions, and the only thing you need to do is stand in line for at least an hour, push a few buttons, or fill out a piece of paper that will take 5 minutes or less, would you do it? If you're a woman and you feel your talent, skill, and ability isn't being respected or appreciated and your contribution deserves recognition, and the only thing you need to do is stand in line for at least an hour, push a few buttons, fill out a piece of paper that will take 5 minutes or less, would you do it? If you feel it is wrong for a wealthy person or a politician to dictate your financial status and personal views, and you have no say-so over theirs, and you wish to put a stop to that, and the only thing you need to do is stand in line for at least an hour, push a few buttons, or fill out a piece of paper that will take 5 minutes or less, would you do it? If you are sick and tired of Congress not respecting or acknowledging all of its citizens of whom they work for, not just their selected chosen few, and you wish to remind them of that fact, and the only thing you need to do is stand in line for at least an hour, push a few buttons, or fill out a piece of paper that will take 5 minutes or less, would you do it? Now that was my second idea. But once again, I didn't go anywhere with that idea either, because I didn't believe it would convince people to take action and start voting, specifically for Democrats, which would be in their best interest. Now we're in much, much darker days. It's not just what I just previously mentioned that's at stake, but our very democracy. 1/3 of the country is supporting and enabling the end to that democracy, and more than half of the country are either unaware or don't care what's going on, which leaves it up to the resistance. The ones who plan to vote down ballot for Democrats to save the United States of America. In 1860, we had traitors who fought on the side of the Confederacy in the Civil War trying to overthrow the U.S. government. And in 2016, we had traitors trying to destroy the very fabric of our democracy once again, starting with Trump supporters, Republican voters, followed by Trump enablers, Republican politicians, and then Trump himself, an ignorant, Twitter-babbling, incompetent fool who, like Hillary Clinton said, is Putin's puppet, who has overstayed his non-welcome, by more than 2 years. It's time for him to go. In 2018 midterm election, more people came out to vote to repudiate Trump and the Republicans, but our job has only just begun. Here's looking forward to 2020 with a Democratic president and a Democratic majority Congress in both houses. If your choice is to stay home or vote Republican rather than have a say in your own life in the following days, months, and years to come, you can just sit back and continue to struggle trying to make ends meet. And as you're doing so, take a look in the mirror to see who's at fault. Remember, your choice and your vote can count just as much and as loud as anyone else's, regardless of your bank account. Money may be power, but it's not the ultimate power unless you allow it to be. A collective voice of millions is more power. So on election night, November 3rd, 2020, let's remind the rich and powerful of that fact. In 2010, Republican voters, the Tea Party, sent a message to President Obama and the Democrats in Congress. And now in 2020, it'll be time for the voters, the Resistance Revolutionary Party, to send a permanent message to Trump, Republican politicians, and voters. Remember, all the branches of the U.S. government work for all its citizens, not just the Republicans' chosen few. If you were a part of Occupy Wall Street, or if you believe in their cause, it's not It's not enough just to complain, set up a tent in front of a building, or temporarily cause traffic disruption. Voting officials out of office can do more to scare all politicians and business owners into doing the right thing, whether they want to or not. How long will the middle class, working poor, underclass allow the 1% and elected officials to dictate their lives and circumstances without them doing something about it? You have the power to do so, and it's just a vote away. Why just sit back and complain when you can stand up and make a difference? On November 3rd, make your voice heard and your vote count. Remember, the choice is yours for now. If you watch this video and you're in agreement with it, then the choice is obvious: a straight down ballot vote for Democrats in 2020. Republicans have always chosen party over country. They have sided with Donald Trump for fear that they will not have a job come January 2021, when the 117th Congress begins. They have sat back and allowed Donald J. Trump to interfere and undermine the integrity of the FBI, and what's worse, some have aided and abetted him doing so. Trump has claimed that the press was printing and reporting fake news about him, and blatantly lied on at least 3 occasions about former President Barack Obama. If you disagree with what I've said, then proceed at your own and the United States' peril. It is imperative that you come out and vote in 2020. I cannot tell you who to vote for, but I can ask you not to vote for any Republican. United we stand, divided we fall. Is not just some lame slogan. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and leave your comments down at the bottom. Remember, making a difference starts with you. You're either the cause or the solution to a problem. And my next video will be about what all my previous videos have been about. This one and the previous 4. It's leading up to what the Resistance Revolutionary Party is all about and what its goals are. I certainly hope to see you, or I should say, I hope you will continue to watch my videos, and hopefully you're listening and you can get other people out there to vote as well. And I will see you soon with my next video. Until then, have a pleasant year.